Save Our Cemeteries, we're a nonprofit. We began in 1974. This was in a response to the proposed demolition of the wall vaults surrounding St. Louis Cemetery Number 2. The Archdiocese of New Orleans at the time wanted to demolish the vaults and replace it with chain link fencing. So Mary Louise Kristovich, our founder, got together with some preservation-minded friends of hers and essentially sued the Archdiocese, and there was a lot of back and forth, but they eventually partnered together to save those vaults. They had to raise millions of dollars to do so. So that's how we began, and we're still small, but we've done a lot since 1974. Our cemeteries they're special. I mean, you don't see these types of tombs in some parts of the country, but not many. And we provide resources to the city and other cemetery owner-operators, the manpower to help them clean the cemeteries and restore tombs. And we really offer that support that they don't have. Our priority is abandoned tombs that have not seen burials in 50 to 100 years. So they could be safety issues, the tombs falling apart, and if the resources are available, we step in and try to save those. We're just there to promote the cemeteries, educate tourists and locals about how special these cemeteries are, and structurally try to help those that have no one. People just disrespecting these tombs, marking on them, breaking open the soft brick, taking things out of the cemeteries. It just never ends. It's an ongoing battle, and it makes our job a lot harder because when you open up a vault, that's an emergency situation. We've got to run over there and close it because owner-operators are not necessarily they may not be aware of it. So once again, that's where we help out. But it just never ends. We closed 4 vaults in Lafayette 1 last week alone because tourists were taking pictures of remains. And we have our Open Tombs project where we have received some grant money and support from the community, where anytime that happens, I send a mason out there as soon as possible to close that up. But you have to have a mason on call, it seems, at times, because it never ends.
You got to keep people aware of the cemetery. I mean, it was that way in the beginning when the cemetery organization Save Our Cemeteries was founded, was to make people aware. There are people who are in the city now that don't even realize they have a tomb in one of the cemeteries. There are a lot of tombs that are orphaned, which they're not used anymore. They're abandoned, and so that that problem will never go away. I mean, it's really an overwhelming problem, and thank goodness for Save Our Cemeteries that at least is coming in, to take care of those things. It's a cemetery of historical significance. You can go through St. Louis 1 and you practically have the history of New Orleans in the early days, just told through that cemetery. I tell people all the time, St. Louis 1 used to be dangerous way back in the day. Now it's only dangerous because there's so many tour groups. There's so many people in there. Homer Plessy, Plessy versus Ferguson. And of course, Marie Laveau's tomb is probably, they say it's the second most visited tomb in the United States under Elvis Presley. When tourists come down, you can see in their faces, the ones that have a hard time wrapping their head around the fact that these are multiple use tombs. But what greater use of land space. We do tours of Lafayette 1, which is city-owned in the Garden District. We do St. Louis 1 and 2, and also a combo of 1 and 2. And also we have done cemetery tours of St. Louis 3 in conjunction with special events.
We have a summertime annual all-day cemetery seminar. Sometimes that has a tour portion to it. We have an annual gala. We have smaller events. We have a run-through history through Metairie Cemetery. It's a 1-mile 5K, all ages. Metairie Cemetery was built on a horse racing track, and the cemetery was designed around it, so it's perfect for doing a fun run. Go to our website, sign up for our e-newsletter, email me at director@saveourcemeteries.org and sign up as a volunteer, or become a volunteer tour guide. Or if you have your own family tomb or plot, just, care for it, be active in the cemetery. Sometimes when we're out doing volunteer cleanups, people will come from the neighborhood and thank us for being there. And, having a cleaner cemetery, it's safer. People aren't likely to vandalize it. And they're just really thankful that we're the only organization that does this, is out there to care for these neighborhood cemeteries. There's no one else doing this. So, we've also promoted the cemeteries. We have 4 lectures per year. We try to educate and promote the cemeteries, and I think we've kept people's interest in the cemeteries and getting people back in the cemeteries with volunteer projects or special tours and such. So I think we just keep cemeteries on people's minds.
You've just got to keep the public aware of what's there, what's valuable, so that you don't lose it. You don't want that memory and that monument to those people to go away.